All right, welcome back. Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? All right, welcome back. First of all, want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to go check out getgforce.net for all of your nutrition products. We just dropped the Core series, and this is all of your staple products. So this is going to be collagen, we have greens, we have digestive enzymes, basically all of the staple supplements that you would need for staying in tip-top shape. So with that being said, go give them a checkout. Code WELCOME10 saves you 10%. But let's jump into the swing of things. So I wanted to share with you guys how to effectively read nutrition labels so that you can understand what it is that you're consuming. So nutrition labels, this is something most people did not know, is that they can be off by as much as 20%. So I'm going to show you guys how to spot some of the marketing tricks that a lot of these companies will use and how to break down a nutrition label to make sure that you're getting the healthiest option possible. I did a short a while back that talked about the difference between a sugar-free barbecue sauce and a specific type of mustard. And the mustard was 5 calories per serving. The barbecue sauce was 15. However, the serving size in the barbecue sauce was 32 grams or 2 tablespoons, whereas the serving size for the mustard was 5 grams. So if you were to use the same amount, you're actually getting more calories from the mustard. So those are some of the things that that companies will try to do to make it seem like their product is lower calorie or more nutritious than it is. So let's talk about the 20% margin. Legally, they can be off by as much as 20%. So to give you an example, if a label says that it has 10 grams of sugar, it can actually be as high as 12 grams of sugar. Now that doesn't seem like much, but if it's a product that you're using 3, 4, 5 times a day, every single day, those calories start to stack and add up. Even small differences when you're trying to track your food can make a huge difference, and not just with weight loss. In the case of sugars, it could be somebody trying to manage their blood sugar for diabetes. So these are all things to consider. The second thing is marketing tactics. So a lot of times you'll hear very common buzzwords, things like low fat, sugar-free, organic, or natural, all can be misleading. An example would be a product labeled as low fat can still be loaded with a ton of sugar. So although there is fat removed or it has no fat in it, you're basically just substituting the calories from the fat for the calories for the sugar. And more often than not, doing something like that, depending on what the product is, you're actually losing the majority of the nutrition by removing the fat and adding in sugar than you would if you were to just say do a whole or a larger fat filled item, depending on what source the fat is coming from. So a lot of times these claims, they're more about marketing and trying to get people to buy the product than it is about actual health benefits. So just because something's labeled as sugar-free, fat-free, those sorts of things doesn't necessarily mean that it is the best. And then that also goes in with the portion size tricks. So a lot of times though, you might notice this with like chips. A serving size of chips is like 3 chips. Who's gonna eat 3 chips? Like, I couldn't even tell you the last time I went to go eat. Oh, I'm gonna go get a couple chips. Yeah, let me just eat 3 and put the bag down. No, a lot of times these foods are also hyper palatable and they're designed for you to keep eating them. So when a serving size says 3, and you think, oh, well, I'm just gonna have 6, 8, 10, an average adult-sized amount of chips, you're actually double, tripling, quadrupling in some cases, the amount of calories that you're getting. And that kind of goes back to the mustard thing that I was talking about, right? A serving size is 5 grams. That's literally like a dot of mustard. So that is something that I've since stopped. So be weary of the marketing tactics. All right, third thing is we're gonna break down a nutrition label. So here's a protein label. And I'll have this up on the screen, but you guys can see it here. All right, and so on this protein label, the first thing that you wanna look at is the serving size. Always check the serving size. Everything else is going to be based off of that, because if a serving size, again, in this instance is 1 scoop, which is 30 grams, if I have 2 scoops, then I need to double the amount of calories and the amount of macros that are in the nutrition. So always compare serving sizes to what you are realistically going to eat. If you get yogurt and the serving size is 60 grams, measure that out, because 60 grams is probably like 3 or 4 bites for most people of yogurt. I'm talking like 4 tablespoons probably is about 60 grams. Not very much. A perfect example is peanut butter. You ask somebody what a tablespoon of peanut butter is, and they usually end up with a heaping amount of peanut butter that, if you were to actually weigh that peanut butter out, would be 3 or 4 times the serving size. Weigh out 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and I promise you it will be a sad day. The next thing we're going to look at is the calories and macronutrients. So assess how many calories per serving are in there and consider how that fits into your daily needs. The macronutrients that we're talking about in this case are carbs, proteins, and fats. So focus on the ratio. For example, if you're aiming for weight loss, you're going to want something that is high protein, moderate fat, low carb, or vice versa, but keeping high protein with carbs and fats a little bit lower. Pay attention to added sugars, and then also the types of fats. Are there added sugars in it? Does it have trans fats, hydrogenated oils? All of those types of things are key factors that will play into the nutritional makeup of the food. And then the next one's gonna be fibers and sugars. So fiber, and this is another trick that you'll see a lot of times in like protein bars and things like that. Net carbs and X amount of fiber, and you know, here's the thing, unless you are truly keto, the net carbs don't matter. You want to look at the actual carbs. Your body, for the most part, and depending on the type of fiber that they're using, and we'll save that for a whole nother video, does not necessarily negate the carbohydrates that are being consumed. So always take it for face value. Whatever it says the total amount of carbohydrates is, that's what I always go off of, not the net carbs. So make sure that you're getting also enough fiber in the foods that you're choosing, which is great for your digestive health. And then look how much of the sugar is added and make sure that we're limiting added sugars. Last step, step 4, is the micronutrients. So those are vitamins and minerals. You want to take a look at what the vitamin and mineral profile looks like. Things like vitamin A, B, C, and D, calcium, iron, magnesium, those sorts of things. They might seem healthy, but many times they are stripped of their micronutrient value. So just be leery of that. And then a quick tip for evaluating the total overall healthiness. One thing is the 5 ingredient rule. Stick to foods with 5 ingredients or less. Obviously in this case with our protein powder, and this one's actually pretty clean, whey protein isolate, cocoa powder, natural flavor, sunflower lecithin, not the best, salt, sucralose, xanthan gum, and potassium. So this one's got about 7, but this is also a supplement, so it's got some additional things in it. But look beyond the label. Whole foods, fruits, vegetables, grains, often they don't come with a nutrition label, and those are going to be the healthiest options. Generally, the foods that are 5 ingredients or less are going to be your more healthy options, and make sure that the ingredients are ingredients that you can pronounce. Watch for hidden additives. So ingredients like preservatives, artificial colors, sweeteners, those can be red flags oftentimes, even if a label is claiming that it's healthy. And then the last thing is aim for balance. Don't focus on just one nutrient. Consider the whole picture, including total calories, macronutrients, fiber, and micronutrients. Take all of those into consideration. So just to kind of recap and summarize everything, if you made it this far, understand the 20% margin of error, be aware of marketing tactics, and take the time to assess the label properly. So next time you pick up a product, take a minute to evaluate it, look at the label like a pro, and the small changes can have a big impact on your health and wellness. I hope you guys found this helpful. I'll catch you on the next one.